We'll come to order. There's a quorum present. All the commissioners and myself are in attendance. All these notices are duly posted. Is there a motion over the board?
Second.
All those in favor? Available open court.
Please rise. The Dallas County Commissioners Court is now in session for the April 2011 term with the Honorable Clay Lewis Gateman presiding. Please remain standing for the invitation.
Our invitation today will be given by Reverend Joe Hudson. Joe Hudson is a spiritual leader, pastor, mentor, community leader, who also serves as senior pastor of the Cathedral of Hope United Church of Christ. A native of Texas, Reverend Hudson received her PhD in Education Administration from Texas A&M in 1993 and graduated with honors from Perkins School of Theology at SMU in 1994. She was ordained in the United Church of Christ in 1997. Reverend Hudson is the former president of the South Central Conference of the United Church of Christ, and she honors us by doing our invocation today.
Thank you, Judge. If you are a person of faith, I invite you to pray, and if you are a person not of faith, would you remain with us in the human spirit? Let us pray. Holy God, we praise you for this glorious day and the beginning of a new day, and give you thanks for the blessings contained within, both those known and unknown to us. As we gather here this morning, I ask your particular blessing, that your Holy Spirit would come to these, our elected leaders, our judge and commissioners, that you would anoint them with your Spirit, fill them with your courage, give them strength and wisdom to discern the good work that is before them. And for all of these who are gathered here this day, I pray that as the work of our great county and this great state moves forward, that you would remind us all that the most important work we do is to lift up those who are marginalized and who do not have enough, and to remember them as we deal with the challenges of the economy and the challenges of the work before us. Remind us that our work must include those who have the least. This morning, oh God, we ask a special blessing on Commissioner Vicki and her family as they grieve the loss of her mother. Remind them that whether we live or whether we die, we are yours. That is our great promise. And so, oh God, anoint these good women and men here this day, that all that we do may glorify you. Hear our prayer, O God, our God of many names. Amen.
Welcome to this meeting of the Commissioners Court. We'll consider our items on our official agenda. Then we'll look at our grouping agenda. Then we'll hear from registered speakers. The court will then convene in a closed session to consider matters as allowed by law. We have 3 resolutions today. My resolution honoring Paul Quinn will be rescheduled, and the first resolution today is from Commissioner Vicki.
Thank you, Judge. And would all of those who are on the Child Welfare Board or representing child welfare interests, please come to the podium while I read this resolution. Let me read the resolution and move its resolution, and then I will ask all of you to introduce yourselves. Whereas sexual and emotional abuse of children is one of the most insidious and devastating problems facing our nation today, it is a problem affecting the whole community. Many of America's children are not safe even in their own homes. And child abuse knows no economic, social, geographic, religious, or racial boundaries. In 2010, a total of almost 77,000 Texas children were confirmed victims of child abuse and neglect, with almost 6,000 of those coming from Dallas County. Many of those children paid the ultimate price. 227 Texas children, 17 from Dallas County, died last year from child abuse. Whereas keeping children safe is a community responsibility and prevention must be a community task, which requires a commitment from every segment of society, including family members, health and law enforcement professionals, educators, schools, businesses, the media, government agencies, community, and faith organizations. And whereas the month of April has been nationally designated as Child Abuse Prevention Month in order to increase the awareness and efforts to prevent child abuse and neglect, now therefore let it be resolved that we, the Commissioners of Dallas County, do hereby proclaim the month of April 2011 as Child Abuse Prevention Month in Dallas County, and I so move. Thank you.
All those in favor?
Thank you for coming, such a big delegation today. I know many of you are members of the Child Welfare Board, and others are those who work closely with child welfare. So would your leader come, and then would each of you introduce yourself?
Good morning. My name is Jessica Dixon Weaver. I'm the chair of the Dallas County Child Welfare Board, appointed by Commissioner Price. And we'd like to invite all of you all to come out on April 29th for our Child Abuse Prevention Month event, which will be in the Old Red Courthouse during the noon hour. Thank you for this honor.
Thank you, Jessica. And would each of you come and introduce yourselves? And if you're on the board, tell us that.
Good morning. My name is Pat Lockard. I am on the Child Welfare Board, and I was appointed by Mike Cantrell. And I want to say thank you for supporting this proclamation. This is the real important work that we need to be doing.
And Brenda is an avid worker in the child welfare area and a friend of mine.
Thank you, Maureen. Brenda Gasted, representing Dallas County Council of Republican Women. I'd like to thank Commissioner Price for his participation in our event last year, Maureen for her participation year before, and Commissioner Cantrell for speaking at our event this coming April the 29th as we recognize the CPS workers, their dedication, and acknowledge what they do in the area of child prevention.
I'm Annie Flores. I'm the CPS Program Administrator for Dallas County.
I'm Cheryl Smith, Conservatorship Program Administrator for Dallas County.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Commissioners. We're happy to be with you this morning, and I'm Diane Jones, staff person at CPS. Thank you so much.
Andrea Lawrence, Investigation Program Director in Dallas.
I'm Natalie Witherspoon, and I'm the Child Protective Services in Dallas.
I'm Linda Love, representative Dallas, Texas Democratic Women.
I would just like to remind the council people that we have a display that they mentioned, the 17 that we've lost. We've got 17 shoes in a display case in the foyer of City Hall. Remind us all of that very personal price that's paid. Thank you.
Thank you all for coming today. Those shoes are very meaningful. And is there anyone else here? We appreciate you coming and your efforts on behalf of this Commissioner's Court. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next resolution will be presented by Mr. Mike Cantrell.
Judge and Commissioners, it's an honor for me to have the Lakeview Centennial High School varsity boys basketball team led by Coach Tony Malden. If y'all will come on up, please. Now, with the resolution, the move its adoption. Whereas in 2011, the Lakeview Centennial High School varsity basketball team in Garland, Texas, completed a very successful season with a 37-2 record, claiming the title of 5A district champs, and for the second year in a row, the runner-up for the Texas UIL Class 5A boys basketball championship. And whereas the Lakeview team, led by Coach Tony Malden, who was named 2010 National Basketball Coach of the Year by the National Federation of State High School Associations, and most notably was one of only 21 high school coaches from across the country to receive the award in different sports. And whereas the Lakeview Centennial High School Varsity Boys Basketball Team has been ranked by the Max Preps, which is America's source for high school sports, as number 2 in the state and number 18 in the nation. And whereas this basketball team should be proud of their accomplishment and tenacity to play hard and fight for victory until the very end. Now therefore be it resolved that the Dallas County Commissioners Court is hereby recognized, honored, and congratulated the Lakeview Centennial High School Varsity Boys Basketball Team and Coach Tony Malden for their success. I'd like to say a few words and then have your team members introduce themselves.
Sure. It's truly a blessing. I've been doing this a long time, as you can probably tell from the color of my hair. I started coaching in 1971. I came to Garland as the head boys basketball coach 8 years ago, and this group of young men started with me 4 years ago, but it's been a great run. When we came there, the varsity team had only won 4 games the year before. We've been in the playoffs 6 of those 8 years, and the last 4 years I've had these young men. It's been a blessing to me. Great group of young men. I've got 9 of the 10 seniors with me this morning. The underclassmen, because of tax testing, if you're involved with public education, you understand that, have to stay behind because tax test is coming up soon. But these young men did a great job. I'm proud of them, not only as basketball players, we did a great job as that. We actually made it to state last year, and we runner-up, and wanted to go back and win it. Came close. We were actually 1 point. If you didn't watch the game, down 20 points. This young group of young men came back and actually took the lead, and we lost it right at the end to a really good team, Flower and Marcus. But it's been a blessing for me to coach these young men and to be in public education. I am retiring at the end of this year and start other endeavors. When I was a college coach, got involved in work in Africa and appreciate those helping children. I'm involved in helping orphans and children in Africa, so I'll be transitioning to that. But I just want to say thank you for this honor. It's a great group of young men. We're blessed in education to be able to touch lives. And the last thing I want to say is that many years ago when I was in college coaching, someone asked me to come and talk about plants that you coach. And I thought a long time, stayed up most of the night. And I came to the conclusion, because it's like an artist with a canvas that's blank, when you take a young man or young lady and you get to put something there on canvas and change their lives into something beautiful. It's been great to see these young men transition to that beautiful canvas. Responsible young men are going on to college and make something of themselves and good citizens. And so I appreciate them. Thank you for this opportunity. And guys, if you would, come on up and introduce yourself, please. He's not shy. He may look like it.
Good morning. Good morning. My name is Samuel LaGuava, number 1, Texas Tech. Good morning. Good morning. My name is Ron Lipsey, and I want to thank y'all for having me.
Hello, guys. Hello. I'm Chris Jones, and thanks for having me. Good morning. My name is Cameron Leonard. I'm 21. UNT.
Good morning. My name is Tavi Goshen, and I'm number 20, and I will be attending Texas Tech.
All right. Good morning. Dorian Johnson. How you doing? My name is Damon Jones, number 10. How you doing? My name is Walter Bell, number 11. I'm Walter Black, I'm 34.
Thank you. Judge, my next resolution Is Chris Jenkins here? Thank you, Coach. Chris, come on up and join everybody with you. And I'll read this resolution and then we'll adopt it. Whereas 20 million Americans are victims of crime each year, and each crime affects many more, including families and friends and communities. And whereas crime exacts emotional, physical, psychological, and financial toll on victims, because they have lost loved ones, life savings, physical and mental health, and often their sense of security that has the potential to irrevocably change the course of their lives forever. And whereas we applaud the progress that our nation's made in recognizing crime's impact on victims and celebrate advocates and survivors who, through their determination, brought rights and resources to victims and have changed the course of history. And whereas our history teaches us that by working together we can help victims of crime reshape their destinies and ensure that they receive the support that they need, the respect they deserve, and the rights that they have earned. And whereas National Crime Victims' Rights Week, April 10th through the 16th of 2011, provides an opportunity for us to reshape the future for victims by honoring the past and reflecting on hard-won victories, and to recommit to working together to insist on better treatment for victims to help them overcome the harm caused by crime. And whereas the Dallas County Commissioners Court is joining forces with the victim service programs, criminal justice officials, and concerned citizens throughout Dallas County and America to raise awareness of victims' rights and observe National Crime Victims' Rights Week. It is therefore ordered, adjudged, and decreed that the Dallas County Commissioners Court approves and hereby proclaims the week of April 10th through April 16th, 2011 as Dallas County Crime Victims' Rights Week. And I so moved. Chris, I know you led this up for many, many, many years, and we appreciate all of your efforts. Would you like to say a few words and then introduce who you have?
Yes, I'd be glad to. I would like to thank you again for sponsoring this. I think this is 14 years in a row now in sponsoring this resolution, and we really appreciate it. And by the way, he is going to be one of our speakers tomorrow, so we hope he will come. I have flyers that I'm going to be handing you. This ceremony does mean a lot, not only to those that provide services to victims, but to the victims themselves. Lets them know that they do have rights, and that there are those of us out here that it is our job to inform them of those rights and about what services might be available. So we really appreciate it. Judge Jenkins, I would just like to introduce myself. I'm the other C. Jenkins.
Oh!
So if you would like to come up and introduce yourself, I'll hand out.
Good morning. I'm Cindy Grignon, Victim Services Coordinator for Dallas County Community Supervision and Corrections. I'm Lindsay Woodlands. I'm an intern with Victim Service Unit at Dallas Probation with Cindy Permian.
Representing what elementary?
Okay. Some people are celebrating 61.
I'm Summer Wassif, DPS Victim Services, and the current chair of the Crime Victim Council. And thank you again, Commissioner Control.
Good morning. I'm Beverly Booker. I'm the manager of Victim Services for North Texas Mothers Against Drug Trafficking. And thanks to all of you all for your support.
Hi, good morning. I'm Lorelai Gregory. I'm a victim advocate at Victims Act.
Good morning. My name is Lisa Dorheim with Traffic 911, a nonprofit organization, and we help to restore and rescue child victims of domestic minor sex trafficking. So I'm delighted to hear about April being Child Abuse Month as well. Thank you very much.
Good morning. Christina Johnson. I'm an intern with Mothers Against Drug Trafficking Community.
Great. Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Before we get to our next one, if anyone, this brings up a great point. If anybody wants to send an email to me, it's clay.jenkins. If you want to send it to Chris, it's C. Jenkins.
Thank you.
So particularly the hate mail. She gets my hate mail. Special presentation from Commissioner Price.
Judge, Commissioners,
We're pleased again to have this annual track of great corporate citizen encore. So I'd ask Mr. Thompson, the weatherization team, encore, all to kind of come forward. This whereas in January 2009, an agreement was initiated between Dallas County Health and Human Services and Frontier Associates, LLC, for weatherization services for eligible Encore Energy customers in Dallas County. Whereas the primary purpose of the weatherization assistance program under the Frontier Associates, LLC agreement is to improve energy efficiency for low-income households through measures such as insulating attics and walls, providing compact fluorescent lamps, solar screens, addressing air infiltration controls, replacement of inefficient, unsafe appliances with Energy Star window air conditioners, Energy Star central air conditioners and heat pumps, and Energy Star refrigerators, as well as Energy Star ceiling fans, applying water heating measures, and ceiling ducts. And whereas Encore operates the largest distribution and transmission system in Texas, delivering electricity to more than 3 million homes and businesses through 117,000 miles of power lines. And whereas to date, the Dallas County Health and Human Services has received funding from Encore Electric Delivery Company, LLC, in the amount of $900,000 to be administered contractually by Frontier Associates, LLC, on behalf of Encore. And whereas the Energy Conservation Services through the Dallas County Health and Human Services Weatherization Assistance Program are consistent with the Dallas County Strategic Plan Vision 2, Dallas County is a healthy community. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Dallas County Commissioners Court is hereby acknowledge Encore Electric Delivery Company, LLC, for their financial presence with residential weatherization services to low-income citizens of Dallas County, and graciously acknowledge the award of $300,000 on this date to be administered through the contract with Frontier Associates, LLC. And I so move.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Ms. Dennis, Vice President of Encore, and also to be with her, and we really appreciate the fact that she's here, and she probably should be attending to about 35,000 residential customers who are still without power, and including my office, including your office. Yeah. Well, that's how design. But but she, we talk about 117,000 miles of lines. I know there are a number of poles that came down. I'm not going to bring up the whole tree thing. I don't know how those poles came down, but that's what happens when you don't cut the trees. Not 12 inches, no, they need to be more than 12 inches. That's another story. But let me just say thank you. Thank you very much for all you do. I was telling Dr. Smith, when we made a call yesterday coming from jail sanitation, we went out at 2 o'clock at one of our detention residential facilities, and called Ms. Dennis and Mr. Martin and I. And we were on within about an hour and a half, and that whole grid out there was a real challenge. But we just appreciate that they placed us on the priority in terms of our young people in detentions, in terms of restoring power. And so I just appreciate all you do, Ms. Dennis, with regards to not only Dallas County, but this community. Some people don't understand the difference between 12 and 14 inches. Cutting the tree impacts all the rest of us in the grid. So I just want to say thank you.
Commissioner, thank you. Thank you for your support and everything that you and this court do to support Encore. We're pleased that this is the third consecutive year that we've awarded a $300,000 check to Dallas County in partnership with Dallas County Health and Human Services to provide weatherization to homes. Up to $6,500 per home is what they're eligible for. And our program goal this year is 1,344 kW and to impact 822 homes across the service area. So it's a great program that assists with making homes more energy efficient for those homeowners that qualify based on the guidelines. Again, we appreciate your patience as we restore power. It was a big, very spotty storm, and the last I heard, we were still at about 20,000 customers that are out. So it's very challenging and often difficult to understand how trees impact service to all our customers that are in different areas, and the challenges with our crews and crews that are coming from outside the state to help us restore power as quickly as possible.
So you are bringing in crews from the state?
Yes, from Houston. Well, actually, not from out of state in the case of Houston, but we're bringing them from Oklahoma. And those should arrive by noon today and help us throughout the day and into the night and tomorrow. We are estimating that it will be as late as tomorrow evening before some customers are restored power. But we are trying to get our arms around and give more information to the communities about what their timing is for restoration. So thank you for your patience and support. Our goal is to keep your lights on.
Do I see a big check behind you?
Yes, sir. And I'd like to, certainly for my other colleagues to be able to introduce themselves that really do the real work in the program.
Good morning. Thank you, Commissioners, for recognizing the efforts of the program. My name is Carl Brown. I'm Senior Program Manager at Encore. And, I'd like to extend our thanks to Mr. Thompson and his staff for helping us implement the program to the folks that are eligible for the weatherization efforts. Thank you all for your support.
Grant Geeks Frontier Associates.
I want to introduce our staff, because I think one of the things that we brought out before last week, that Dallas County Health and Human Services, you're talking about $39 million of weatherization dollars that is in Dallas County, is doing a fabulous job, and we commend Encore. But I want to thank the staff that we meet daily on weatherization services. Daniel Razor, who is our program monitor, who has done a tremendous job, whether day or night. You can always contact him, and he follows up on that process. Dinesh, who is our financial administrator, and Saliha, who makes sure all of our weekly reports are up to date on a financial matter. This is the engine that runs the weatherization program, but I want to commend Encore for being an excellent corporate partner in seeing the need that on utility assistance payments, we can't pay people throughout forever. We're going to have to weatherize homes to ensure that these homes are solid, and that's going to reduce the number of people who are going to need assistance with their utility bills. And the older housing stock inside the city of Dallas makes it a challenge, because some of these homes were built in the 1940s, 1950s. Their windows are no longer energy efficient. They weren't energy efficient when they put them in. So the concept is, when you talk about new roofs, $6,500 worth of work in terms of windows, water heaters, replacing a air conditioning and heating unit makes the difference in terms of moving Dallas County green. And it has to start with the homes. I know we spend a lot of time on the smelters and the other issues, but the homes that we're dealing with are losing a lot of energy, and it's having an impact on our seniors and low income inability to pay their monthly bills. So I won't belabor the point in terms of the check presentation, but we can come up there and share.
And while they're coming, I just want to thank you. And by the way, I saw that last email that you generated back to another partner of ours. Right. And I appreciate that being on top of that in terms of the leadership, because there is the whole issue of weatherization is still an issue. And while people are taking and directing individuals to health and human services, Mr. Thompson seems to be on top of it. While Frontier is coming, I've had the opportunity to be out on location with them as they go into attics and see them on the ground doing work, and I just really appreciate the kind of work that they've done. I think that's really kind of cool. It's just showing so much support. Oh yeah, it's just broken in fourth place. I was like, you get this big cardboard check over here. Won't give it away. You need a big cardboard. Thank
next item is our consent agenda. Is there a motion on the consent agenda? All those in favor? We'll now consider our bids and RFPs. Is there a motion on the bids and RFPs?
Second.
All those in favor? We'll now consider court orders 10 to 28 and 81. And we have a speaker on one of them that I don't. It's Judge Marty Lowell.
He's coming at 9:40, he's in here.
Okay, we need to pick a 9:40, but we move.
Okay. I will pull 15 until such time as I'll make a motion to pull 15 until such time as he says what.
I'll second.
With that, we have a motion on 10 to 28 and 81 with 15 pulled. All those in favor? All right. Sorry about that. Motion second. All right. So with that, we have a motion on 10 to 28 and 81 with 15 pulled. All those in favor? We have a motion. Yeah, we had I moved, she seconded. No, that was on 10. That was on 10.
And I'll move 10 through 28 with pulling forward 15 and including 81.
Okay. All those in favor?
And then, you need to move to 12:15.
No, we have to, no, that's what he said, he wants to pull it for him to come. I'm gonna move it.
We'll move that. All right, we'll move to our briefing session. Mr. Martin.
Commissioners, item 1 is the briefing agenda, Health and Human Services, 1A, report of informal agenda. 1B, recommend approval of fiscal year 2011 wine and white Park Beach contract amount of $3.3 million for the period April 1, 2011 through March 31st, 2012. Item 2, tax assessor. We recommend approval of the changes to the per parcel clause for Admiral tax assessment fee collection. Item 3, purchase and
I want to thank John Ames for what you're doing there. This is going to help the cities out as they look at their costs going down, and it's through management of that department. We appreciate what you're doing. Thank you.
Item 3, purchasing. 3A, recommend waiving the general liability insurance requirement for copy solutions for the period January 5th through January 20th, 2011, and authorize the county notice to the payments to the vendor. Item 3B, recommend approval of the RFP for commissary services through Dallas County Sheriff's Office authorized purchasing to advertise solicitation according to local government code.
I do want to, again, Sheriff's Department in 26 years, you raised more money in the last 5 years, 4 years of this contract than we raised in all the years prior. Primarily because the Sheriff's Department, agreeing with the legislation to help us with this court, making a policy to go out.
More transparent.
Yeah, more than it's ever been. And you're talking about those kind of dollars. It's made all the difference in the world. So,
good job.
Item 4, public works. Recommends consent to the sale of property located at 13701 Lake June Road, Balls Springs, authorized the city of Balls Springs to act as trustee and sign on behalf of Dallas County and the other taxing entities.
yeah, I saw that. They claimed to be this. I'm not going to tell me so. So that's the reason.
Item 5, budget. 5A, we have a conference trial request. 5D, we have hiring fees assessment in the district attorney's office, county clerk, and public defender. And 5C, you have your 2012 budget update. I believe today we have county assessor, district clerk, and county clerk defender. Is that correct, Mr. President? That concludes your briefing agenda. If there are no questions on miscellaneous or information, we do have to speak to this. I know we have to come back to item 15.
All right, I'll take that speaker out of order when he gets here so we can get the two knocked out. Our first speaker is Ms. First, let me look available for read the rules and we'll call up the speaker.
All Commissioners Court attendees are hereby advised that this meeting is conducted in accordance with the provisions of the Dallas County Code, Section 74-71. Visitors and registered speakers are to preserve order and decorum at all times. Personal, profane, or slanderous remarks are not appropriate and will not be allowed at any time during this public meeting. Any and all applause is to be kept brief in observance of time constraints. Disruptive visitors and/or registered speakers may be removed and are subject to the penalties provided in the State of Texas Penal Code, Sections 38.13, 42.01, and 42.05. Registered individual speakers are limited to a maximum of 3 minutes, and the maximum discussion on any one topic is limited to 30 minutes.
All right, our first speaker today is Ms. Mate Yemen. Ms. Yemen, please come forward and state your name and address for the record. You'll hear a beep, and when the time starts and a series of beeps when your 3 minutes is up.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen of the Dallas County Commissioner Courtroom, and good morning, ladies and gentlemen who are seated here. I'm here to speak on, and my name is Mate Yemen, and I live at 4234 Court Apr. I'm here to speak on the treatment of prisoners at the county jail. I've heard from people in the past, some I've met in public, and some who were fellow employees at the workplace. Various stories detailing the bad environment their loved ones faced in prison. I hope that in bringing this subject up, I can help those who may be unable to speak for themselves. And let us remember that our Lord, who suffered and was condemned at the hands of those from a high court without a cause. For the prisoners, I feel that they should always have a day's labor of work. They need to know how to work a computer due to an increase of its use in our society. There should always be a definite plan for them. Rehabilitate due to their loss of freedom. Restore, give them a normal state. Give them a normal state of mind for position in life. The presence of God should be felt throughout the facility and in around the building itself. His commandments and his son's life when he was in prison. If possible, no work on Saturdays. If possible, church on Sundays. People from different faiths, those that concerns God only, to give service to them. They should give thanks before every meal. And for the officers, the prisoners should always display good manners, be respectful towards each other. No signs of any sexual harassment or brutality by fellow inmates or officers. I feel that officers should have once a year training who are involved with the prisoners. Thank you for letting me speak.
Dr. Oliver Bloom is our next speaker.
And while Bloom is coming, because Dr. Garcia states and publishes this. Ms. Yemen, I just want you to understand that a lot of things you have addressed that also gets addressed in the Texas Commission on Jail Standard. I think you will find there are almost no grievances, except for maybe a handful. We are complying with the Department of Justice in terms of the regulations to everything from medical to meals. And if an inmate feels as though that they're being mistreated, there is a grievance process which that can be addressed. The issue of program department is a special division, whether it's computers or any other skill sets that's provided by the Dallas County Community College. So oftentimes I would want to respond to this stuff, but sometimes people come and they make statements. And I don't know if you haven't talked to me, but talked to any of our people. I just want you to understand that everything you have addressed, we address. Okay?
I just feel that that's one place where God will have to always be, because these are so-called bad people. We have to convert them into being a better citizen when they go out.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Good morning, Your Honor and Commissioners. I'm Dr. Oliver Bloomer, B-L-U-M-E-R.
I'm sorry.
No problem. I'm here to represent two organizations, Youth First Texas of the North Dallas and North Texas area. It's a nonprofit organization that supports and offers a sacred and a safe space for LGBT and questioning youth, keeping them off the streets and giving them a place for leadership and a place to be among individuals who are like them and to give them support. We also take them to Austin for Lobby Day to help them become part of the process in lawmaking and decision-making. The second organization that I represent is TENT, which is the Transgender Education Network of Texas, and we are located in Austin, Texas, but reach out to the entire state for education purposes. I'm not going to belabor the fact that you've heard the vigor and the volume from those of us who are appreciative for your putting sexual orientation on the Dallas County employment policy. Kudos to you and moving forward like the rest of the world is moving forward. Without belaboring the fact of gender expression and gender identity, because you've gotten emails and heard others speak, the one point that I would like to make is from the economic, health, and welfare of the citizens of Dallas County. Looking forward, I would hope that you would consider adding gender identity and gender expression to the policy for the reasons of future hiring of youth in this city and individuals who are coming of age to take employment with the Dallas County. Those of us here who are over the age of 45 are not really in step with this gender expression to the employment policy. Thank you for your time.
Yes. You see a lot of gender expression, the children.
Yes.
You're seeing a lot of that. What's very charitable or very service.
Youth First Texas.
Youth First.
Yes,
you see a lot of that there?
Absolutely. So that gives them a place where they can come and not be bullied for the expression. It's not just about, we're not talking about sexual orientation here. We're talking about gender expression.
Are those kids bullied?
Absolutely. They're a large community that's bullied all the time. Whether they identify as a transgender individual or they identify as someone who just feels more comfortable in different kind of clothing than you and I. But they find a place there where they can also get counseling, therapy if need be, but also be with individuals who are supportive of them and don't bully them. We honor a very safe space of integrity, compassion, equality, and diversity there.
What percentage of the kids and what number of the kids come for gender identity as opposed to other issues?
Well, it is a smaller population if you look at the entire population. However, if you were to walk into, and we invite you to come to Youth First Texas at any time, especially on Thursday nights, which is our big group night, I would say that probably 50% have some outward appearance of gender expression other than what you would think you would see in the outside world, where they blend in anyway. But at Youth First Texas and even in Austin, we have out youth. All over the country, we have places, nonprofits, a supply of places for these individuals to come. And part of the L, which is lesbian, G, which is gay, B is bisexual, T is transgender, we have Q, which is questioning. So we're very sensitive to those individuals who are in those formative times of their years, where they can come and seek counseling and seek some awareness of who they are as their identity, not their sexual orientation.
Thank you.
Thank you for your questions.
Next, Judge Lowry. Oh, okay. Let's take Judge Lowry out of order so we can just go on 15.
Before we go on, I just want to put a clarification. The court order does specify an April date, but due to the timeline of ordering the Magnalox into the contract renewal at the end of May, I'd like to state that the date will be closer to the end of May. Plus, that allows Caroline Hayes and opportunity to work with the city on some issues that she has as well.
So June 1st?
We'll talk. May 24th is the end of the contract, so it would be good to meet it at that point.
May 24th. That's right.
Thank you.
Go ahead, sir.
Well, what I was going to ask the court for was an additional 30 days to see if we could work on some ways of mitigating the impacts of this. It sounds like that's going to happen anyway.
That's what I asked for. We're in the same math.
And I do think there are going to be some impacts that we need to consider. Basically, the additional traffic at the main entrance if we don't have any additional security staffing there. It's going to add to delays getting jurors and attorneys into the building so that we can get
We've already adjusted to that.
I went over yesterday, Judge, and I monitored it myself. And they take a break, I think, from 9:30 to 10:30, and they're down to one deal, and it's quite a backup. So I talked to security about that, and when we phase to this new program, they told me that they'll have 3 open and phase down to 2. So hopefully we won't see that back up with front. But I'm gonna personally keep an eye on that as well.
Well, and that's my primary concern, and I do want to thank the court for your patience. I did have some matters I had to hear before I could come over here this morning, and with a little additional time and an opportunity to review the impacts and possible ways of dealing with those. If we need to save this money, then that's what we need to do. I'm not here to try to change your minds about that. So, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, Ron. We've already adjusted for.
Correct, and the reason we didn't have the 3 lines open yesterday was a non-jury week.
That's
for
exactly
Philadelphia.
right. That's
Chief White is putting monitoring that on a weekly basis. We will have a third line open on Monday, and we'll monitor Tuesday.
Well, I will tell you that 9:35 is 20 people.
Yeah, I understand. And that's my point. And yesterday over at the jail sanitation, we went 4 lines, and every one of them has people coming out the door. And just so happened it wasn't raining everywhere.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, yes, Larry. And one more thing, we're also going to be working on the impact on the businesses around, the traffic flow, and I understand, some of the vendors around,
We will work with the bailiffs to ensure that they understand what businesses are in the area. I believe they already know that. In addition, Shannon and I are talking about the possibility of approaching those businesses about advertising on kiosks that are in the building.
Thank you.
Yeah, let's go back to 15. Do I have a motion on 15?
Well, then we'll go back to section 8 and reconvene.
All right, let's reconvene into our public session. And do I have a motion on Court Order 15? With the date?
Yeah, with the date.
I'm not going to provide you a substitute court order, just the record will reflect the event.
That's May 25th.
So this is 15 as stated,
No, put it in.
15 as stated, put off for 30 days.
No.
But the closure won't take effect until May 24th.
Maybe.
Or
25th.
I say.
Motion and a second. All those in favor?
No.
Nay?
Point of information. Would it be possible, Judge, to direct the staff when they're speaking, to use the mics or someone turn the mics on so people sitting behind them can hear what they're saying? You can hear what they're saying when they address you, but the mics are not working apparently because people sitting back have difficulty hearing. Some of us are approaching.
Hit the mic. You come.
Okay.
Lean into it.
It's coming over the club, right? Yeah. You guys? Okay. Well, for those of you in the audience, if you can't hear, somebody give me one of these and I'll try to switch to speak up. All right, our next speaker. Oh yeah, get a little parliamentary help, which I appreciate. I need to drop us out of a closed session and back into registered speakers. Out of our regular session, I'll say closed. I'm looking forward to it. All right, our next speaker is Kathy Fisher. That's Kathy Fisher here today.
I am.
Hi, Ms. Fisher. And please state your name, your address, and your beep. Just start your time, and then others your 3 minutes.
Good morning. My name is Kathy Fisher. I live at 12009 West Place in Dallas. The FY 2011 budget for Dallas County deleted 202 positions. But for staffing cuts to be truly cost effective, it is counterproductive to compensate for staff losses or shortages with overtime, compensatory time, and extra help, especially when Section 82-112 of the Dallas County Code states that overtime is compensated at the premium rate of time and 1/2. The FY 2011 budget includes more than $1,796,000 for overtime and another $4,650,000 for extra help. Additionally, the cost of outsourcing work to consultants must also be considered. The FY 2011 budget earmarks almost $3,500,000 for consultant fees. That's an increase of more than $63,000 over the FY 2010 budget. I would like to know what specific reasons consultants are needed and to whom these contracts are awarded. The cost of overtime work, extra help received, and consultant fees paid may very well negate any overall cost-saving measures proposed elsewhere in the budget. What are some things that can go now? The county has a FY 2011 budget allowance for automobiles of $228,573. Who benefits from this automobile allowance? The county judge has an allowance of over $9,000. The district attorney's allowance is over $8,000, and the county court administrator's office is over $23,000. Another thing that could go, I think, the employee health clinic. The funding for FY 2011 is $500,000. Dallas County offers health insurance to its employees, and they all receive a regular salary. $500,000 is a big chunk of change for people who have health insurance and a job. Chief Public Information Officer, at a cost of more than $97,000 a year, the creation of this position is unjustifiable, no matter what additional duties are assigned. And I'm not even certain that this position was advertised publicly before the people were selected. While some may consider these as nickel and dime cuts, my recommendations are substantive suggestions that make a lot more sense than raising the cost of vending machine drinks by 10 cents a can.
Thank you. Let me just speak to the record. First of all, so that since we published on this, the fact is there is no relationship with the 2011 budget between overtime and the 217 people who were dismissed. One's constables who never, ever received any overtime pay.
Correct.
Okay? Number two, the other is about the jail and a compliance ratio of which the Texas Commission on Jail Standards require us to meet. Is that not correct as well?
That's correct.
And as well as compensatory time. You know, I find it very interesting. People come up here every week and they rob things that they have no understanding. Most of the employee health clinic is about loss of time and attendance on the job. It's about convenience and access. Yes, we could take those individuals and let them go elsewhere to try to secure facilities. We lose lost productivity. However, that is also about physicals for those individuals who we would hope to employ in terms of the job, which is probably the lion's share of what goes on in the employee health center. I mean, I guess I didn't do anything but recant some of the things you said, but there's no relationship. And by the way, one's a 2011 budget, one's a 2012, and each and every time this court has made a move with regards to another position, somebody has decided that they are going to weigh in, and we move positions. I don't want to hear your time is up, ma'am.
I'd like to address your...
No, I don't want you to address it. Yeah, I want you to address it. I'm not speaking to you, man. So, I mean, people come and they say things. And Mr. Brown, am I incorrect with any of the things that...
You're correct. To expand upon it, the majority of that extra help is in the elections department due to the fact that when we have an election, we bring on significant extra help employees to be able to run the election. And it behooves us to do that, because then you don't have to have full-time employees. You don't have necessarily something to do it the rest of the time of the year. So we look at each of those line items every year.
And we've already done that. That's not new, is that correct?
That's not it.
Okay.
I'd like to add a couple of things. And one is I looked at and broke down closing the employee health clinic, and financially it would just cost us money to do it because of the size of our employees and the loss in productivity. Nobody could give me a sheet that we could save any money doing that, and so I backed off on doing that. Also, one thing that you didn't mention, the consultant contracts. But one of the biggest ones that I can think of, if not the biggest one that we've got for next year, is whoever, and I don't know if it's been awarded yet, but it's the people that are going to weatherize all of our buildings and allegedly save us our money back in 5 years. So we got.
It has not been awarded, and that's the energy performance audit. But in addition, we've done everything from IT in terms of outsourcing contract. We've had a jail consultant with regards to bringing our jail into compliance. The fact is that the Texas Commission on Jail Standards, prior to the recent certification, at one time had basically, I guess it was 4 years ago, told us we had to remove over 1,000 people from our detention facility. Said Dallas County was the largest facility, urban facility in the state of Texas. We had more nonviolent offenders, and they said either they would remediate and close us down, or we could do it. At that particular time, we removed 1,000 individuals from our facility, and subsequently hired a consultant to be able to help us come into compliance with everything from facilities to the fact that ratios, which we were out of compliance. So, I mean, it's just amazing that people can, use this. And the reason I'm even responding to it is because, if you go to, OFC.com, just looking at somebody comes and says that they put this information out there, and it's not found.
It's also on the county website.
Yes.
Thanks to the sheriff's department, we did take the court.
Judge Jenkins, I think we should look at the process, and I'm not saying what it should be, but I think we should look at the process of when we have speakers, and then we answer the speakers, then we have the last say. And so whatever they have, only our side is really heard. So I think that this court should look at how we address speakers, if indeed we're going to address speakers, and do this in fairness to what they have been said. In other words, we answered everything from our point of view, and did not give it a chance to respond. So think about that and how we might do this in a more even-handed way for the public.
Judge, this is not point counting. They get a chance to make their assertions. And the only reason you're even speaking to it is because it appears as though they have made assertions which are not founded. And I'm not talking to them. They use their time. They can say whatever they want to say within their 3 minutes. And then we get a chance to say what we want to say. Public ways.
But we have no time limit.
And that's exactly right.
Whatever we want.
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of puts the public in a one-down position, because obviously we're sitting up here at the dais. We have a microphone and no limit on how long we speak.
Right.
Something to think about.
All right. We have one. That's not informed of the motion, correct?
No.
Okay. All right, and we have one more speaker, Ms. Maybe O'Connor. Ms. O'Connor, please state your name and address. If your beep time starts, here's your beep.
Good morning, Judge Jenkins, Commissioner Dickey, and all of the commissioners. I would like to thank Dr. Bloomer for his earlier comments. My name is Maeve O'Connor. I reside in Dallas County at 1429 Nantucket Drive in Richardson, Texas. I am a professional in the information security field. From age 4 or 5, I had always felt that I was not anatomically or biologically correct. I found more comfort in having girls as my peers and doing stereotypical things that girls that age do. I never wanted to be around boys. When I was told the girls had different parts, I was not allowed to do the things that other girls were doing. It made me very sad. I would go to bed at night praying to God to make things right, to correct me. At that age, I did not understand what having a sexual relationship was. All I ever felt was a physical sense that what I had was not what should be there. My sense of self has never left me. October of last year, I was finally able to take the steps to surgically fix what I had always felt was anatomically incorrect. I feel correct now. I realize that for me this is the closest my innate sense of being female will get to being biologically correct. I have never been happier. Gender identity is what we now understand and label as a person's inner sense of self, as it applies to their feelings of being either male or female. Gender expression is how I choose to express myself in the light of my gender identity and the gender role that I pursue. None of what I have felt or how I have chosen to express myself has ever had anything to do with anything other than my own internal sense of self, my truth of knowing that I was simply born with the wrong parts. When I came of age and started to learn about sexual relations, it was very confusing for me, and I admit to being homophobic for quite some time. I can honestly stand before you and state that the feelings I have regarding my gender from a very young age have had absolutely nothing to do with my sexual orientation. It is vitally important to me and others like me that the courts recognize a clearly defined distinction between the gender identity, gender expression, and sexual orientation. In 2009, my wife passed away in my arms on our 17th wedding anniversary. She had been very supportive of me and what I was dealing with. She had breast cancer and was covered under my insurance through my employer. The overwhelming fear that I would lose my job and lose the insurance that was helping my partner and best friend of 21 years in her fight for life kept me from being able to transition fully any earlier than October. I was not willing to risk losing my job and my ability to care for her. I loved her that much. Thank you.
All right. The board will now reconvene in public session and recess for its closed session as authorized by Chapter 551 of the Texas Government Code is previously posted. Any action in that closed session that needs to be voted on will take place in a subsequent open session. This court is now reconvened. Recess.